I definitely would not want to make it a habit.
We just walk past and like, let's check this out. I know, it looks kind of weird.
Okay, that is definitely not, we did not know that. That's news to us.
It overlooks Oxford.
Which is beautiful.
No, but for your first time, everything was needed. But there isn't a next one.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be day 15 of our trip, our final day that we had in England.
Our very final full day. We spent the whole day in Oxford, and I have to say, Oxford is unlike any city we've ever been to. So this is the top 8 things we did while in Oxford.
So yeah, right off the bat, the first thing we noticed when we were toured this was the yellow stone.
So we knew ahead of time that the whole city was kind of yellow colored because our good friend Emily, who gave us the plane ride, she went to school there for a while and she said, as soon as you get there, it's gonna be yellow. And we didn't understand what she meant until we got there.
Because of the sandstone.
Yes, it is very yellow, but in a really cool way. So for our first stop, we got proper tea. And this place was really kind of fancy.
Yeah, I felt very out of place there.
Same.
Especially when I was looking at the prices.
The sconces I found really kind of bizarre though for the rest of the feel of the place.
I think we got like 3 or 4 cups of tea because we got our own little kettle. Me being fancy.
Trying to be.
So the food was very good, the service was amazing, but it was very expensive. I don't quite remember.
Why are the eggs orange?
They've always been orange.
What?
They're always orange. Cheese is really good. I believe it was like £7 for a cup of tea there.
Something like that.
I definitely would not want to make it a habit, even if I had the money, because yeah, £7 for a cup of tea is not my cup of tea.
Oh my gosh. It was like 7:30 in the morning. I really did like my tea. Like I said, it was very refreshing. I think I drank most of the pot. But after that, we could finally walk around and explore the city. And of course we got to see a lot of the colleges. Although I can't tell you which ones are which, because we're not that educated on the matter.
Mainly just because we didn't take note of each one while we were there. I think one huge thing that I don't know how many British people know, when people say Oxford over here, we think it's one college.
Just one. It's like, oh, there's a city. We know there's a city, but there's like a main college there.
Yeah, that's what we assume, kind of like Harvard. Harvard's the one college.
Yes.
So when we got there and we started talking with some people and they said there's like 50 different schools there.
It's just a college city.
Yeah, we were just like, okay, that is definitely not, we did not know that. That is news to us.
Yes. Part of the reason we couldn't actually identify what school was which is because they're not very clearly labeled unless you actually go up to the front. And again, you can't always find what the front is because the buildings are so bizarre the way they just kind of wrap around the roads and then they just keep going and they all are the same color. And so you can't really tell where one ends and the other begins. But we had a blast just walking that whole area.
And before people, I already hear people going like, oh, why didn't you Google it? Or, okay, one, I know obviously there was probably a map somewhere and we should have grabbed one. And two, on the whole Google thing, is we had limited data and we were starting to hit our limit.
Yes, we didn't want to spend the buku bucks to get the extra.
So it was like, at that point, it was like, yeah, we're not looking anything up.
No, we didn't want to risk it. This was apparently a famous library here though. We did want to check that out. Until we found out the price. Honestly, it feels kind of like a prison. Like that wall has almost no windows. If not a prison, then a fortress. It just kind of had like a fort feel.
I was gonna say, I love how you said prison and then you just pan around and there's windows everywhere.
On the other side, there was. But we mainly appreciated all the architecture in this particular square.
I really miss that haircut.
Yeah, you haven't had your haircut since.
I'm a shaggy dog.
So this was inside the beginning part of the famous library. And first off, I noticed their ceiling. The ceiling was the thing that caught my eye immediately as soon as we walked in. It just had all these carvings and this really weird shapes and stuff that just stood out over everything else.
Yeah, the architecture was amazing in that room. They said it was the Harry Potter room, and I didn't know which room they meant, but then they actually showed pictures from the set. Apparently this is the room that they showed anyone in the movie was like in the medic area.
Infirmary.
Yeah, and I think they used it for a couple other scenes, I'm not for sure. once you're in there and you see the scene and you see where you are, it's kind of surreal to be like, oh wow, this is actually where they filmed it. This is part of the movie, maybe obviously it's part of history. It's way older than the movie, but the movie just brings that to life.
Yeah, that's true. Now, before you get upset, the reason we didn't go see the actual library is because it was a lot more money than we thought it was, and I'm sure it was worth it, but we were also, because it was the last day of our trip, we were kind of getting low on cash, and we didn't want to spend even more money. And so we saw this, but we decided to skip the library so that we could go see other things.
Especially after that morning breakfast.
Yes, we had breakfast instead.
After that breakfast, I was done with spending money.
Yeah. But yeah, I kept finding all the shields everywhere while we were just walking around. I want to say we got lost a few times, but we didn't really have a place we were walking to specifically. But I definitely was turned around the whole time there. And I'm pretty sure we walked the same street multiple times. It just looked different every time.
Oh wow, that's a cool building.
So yeah, Oxford is definitely a city of architecture.
Yes, but different type of architecture because it wasn't really Gothic because of the sandstone. It made it bright and cheery feeling. And it had a lot of archways and pillars and such and shields. That one kind of looked like a castle. And this courtyard was cool, so we wanted to walk in closer to see it. But apparently there was a sign saying visitors weren't allowed at that point, and we got in trouble a little bit.
I think it was only between like 3 and 4, probably because students were studying.
Okay, so we came across this, and these faces on the tops of these pillars, we didn't realize it until someone pointed it out. I think you might have pointed it out to me. And the faces just looked really bizarre. Not like creepy, but kind of goofy. I don't know why. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but I just couldn't help but noticing these giant heads.
I'm pretty sure the castle was closed.
Yeah, because we kind of wanted to get a tour of it, but they were only having tours at certain times a day or only certain days of the week.
Okay, the lights are pretty cool. Look at that.
Oh, it's like Batman.
They're made out of axes and swords.
Looks like Batman. There we go. That looks more like
It's
a...
locked up.
Oh no, we don't know.
Let's walk down this way.
Oh, look at this charming restaurant.
The Slug and Lettuce.
1,000.
Oh.
So it's very old. You want to go get there?
Yeah, let's go this way.
Is this the castle?
Part of it. Castle and prison here. The mound. The restaurant. The
castles on the other side
of the mound.
So we were only able to walk around the outsides of it. And again, you can't really tell what part was which because everything was connected in the same color.
Looks kind of like a prison.
And there was something significant about that mound. So comment below and remind us because I remember there was something really significant about it. But since we're doing this video a 3 months later, my memory is faded since then. Yes, we finally got some souvenirs, kind of.
Well, I realized by this time I hadn't really bought any souvenirs.
The whole experience was our souvenir, but we did want something. And I did want to comment, when we came into this one store and we saw all these little pins, and they were all the different shields and colleges that are in Oxford, so it was kind of cool seeing like, oh, there they are, that's how many there are, at least that this particular store showed.
You like this store? Ooh, yeah, let's go check out the games. It's a different version. They got little games. Ooh, guess who? It's like a travel version. That's interesting. Look at these antique games. Must be. Oh, it's got authenticity.
So anyway, by this time it's like, okay, it's our last day. I have to get something, even if it's somewhat cheesy. I still didn't get it because it was like
nothing stood out to you.
Nothing stood out to me. There was one thing I do regret not getting those. We went to a flea market in York and they had a 50th year Queen Jubilee teacup.
Oh, that's right.
That was, I think it was only like 6 or 7 pounds, and I really kind of regret not getting that because that was.
It was an antique store.
Yeah, because would have been way more unique of a souvenir.
We were a little afraid it might break though.
That was the main reason why I didn't get it, but I should have because it would have been a really cool
thing. Yeah, it wasn't a 70th year, but it was just like a 50th one is still pretty cool. But we did like this store a lot. A lot of these games I hadn't even heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard any of these games, but they looked vintage.
And we stopped by a bookstore.
It was actually a really big bookstore. I think it was 4 stories if I remember.
And I did get myself a souvenir there. But the reason I chose this book is because I felt it was slightly more unique to our time there in England, because it said, "Where's Wally?" and over in the States, it's "Where's Waldo?" So the fact that it says, "Where's Wally?" is proof that we got this book in England.
Oxford's a very busy town.
It's very large, very widespread.
Yeah.
So while walking around, we came across a couple of these, and it's just water for your dog, because a lot of people have their dogs with them. I've never seen that anywhere in the States.
Face.
Where? Oh, nope. Creepy.
They're all over the place.
There was another one right near there, but I think it was like a cow or a pig.
The cover marker was a real surprise.
Yeah, we just kind of came across it. Nobody pointed it to us. We would just walk past and like, let's check this out. And it's like awesome. I love the covered market.
Obviously, I think it was geared towards tourists or people from out of town, but
a lot of knickknack
so many
shops.
different shops in there.
And candy shops. And sweet shops.
Ooh, look at that.
Hello.
Hello. Look at these. Is that nugget? Nougat?
What's this, gelato?
They had a lot to choose from, but I wasn't sure it would last, and I didn't want it to melt. So I can't remember if I bought anything to take home with me there. This is a chocolate covered marzipan. I've not tried this yet, and it looked good. So I wanted to give it a shot.
Is it good?
Not quite as good as a Battenberg. It was really good. I think it's a dark chocolate, so it's a little bitter. Also got a pineapple one. I'm gonna finish the other one first. That one's a little bit better. It's got more flavor. Pretty good. There was a lot of cake decorating places, and I am a huge fan of those. So I had a blast just looking at through the windows at the cakes.
What is this?
It's just something they do, like people will crochet and then decorate it. They're all over England.
I haven't noticed that.
And another candy shop. I don't think I bought anything from this one. A lot of it was very similar to the other stuff, but it had a lot more Oxford branding on these candies. Yeah, about this time it was lunchtime, and so while we're at the covered market, we found a cute little restaurant to try something new. And this is very new. I've never even heard of a tuna baked potato. It seemed like an odd mix, but I really like tuna and I really love potatoes. And cheese you can't go wrong with.
Mine was really good, but it was a mess.
I know, it looks kind of weird.
So it's pretty good?
It's very different. I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting. It's just covered in beans.
And gravy. Mine's very interesting too. Tuna and potato. I think I like it though.
This is my first time having a steak and seasoning powder.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty British.
Very British.
And very hot. It's super hot.
You're super hot.
Why are you filming that? Is this content?
It's content if you eat it the right way. Now that we had full bellies, we got to walk around and explore some more. And again, we just came across, I think we walked by the entrance to this before, but didn't realize it was a mall. It was just a big hole, kind of. And then we walk inside like, oh, it feels like you're in a mall. And yet it's still connected to the outside. It was really bizarre. I've never been in a mall like that before.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some malls over here. We have not
Seen every mall in America.
Hi. Nando's.
There's another Nando's.
We didn't go to that one.
We just ate. And I forget, oh, this was up in the mall.
This is at the top level.
Yeah.
It's kind of the back side of the city.
Or at least the residential part of the city. I don't know if it was actually the backside. I love that building. I think it was a small restaurant or tea room or something, but the flowers on it looked real, and I think they might have been, but it was so pretty.
You see the balloon animal?
Those are just on display, I think, for a time.
Inside, outside, inside, hole.
So this church, the University Church of the St. Mary the Virgin, we walked into earlier in the day. We actually ended up going through it twice, and we're going to explain why that happened later. And it was a lot smaller than like the minsters we've been to and seen, but it was still a really pretty church, and you could definitely see the old architecture in it. I think that might have been the first time I seen the checkered floor like that. It really stood out. And there wasn't as much stained glass as a lot of other ones, but it did have one huge mural.
It's still more impressive than any church I've ever seen or been into
In
over
America.
here. Well, at least over here, because they're just way newer. They just have that modern feel.
Yeah.
Just this really ancient building. I don't know, just something about them just draws you in.
Obviously, twice. So yes, this is when we discovered there's a tower at the top of this church. And so of course, once we realized that, we decided to go ahead and pay the £5 to go ahead and go up.
It goes up. It goes taller.
Well worth the £5.
There were a lot of stairs though.
Good exercise.
Look, more stairs.
But it was interesting because the stairs went outside and then came back inside and kind of looped around the building a couple times.
She did say at the top there's 500-year-old graffiti. I kind of doubt that's it.
God, you can just hear us dying in the background.
Heaving.
What are we doing? Oh, the little door.
So tight.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it got way tighter up there.
Yeah, and you're carrying the backpack, you kept bumping against the walls.
It's not that tight. It's perfect size for me. Look at this. There's a window. Ow, fudge. Are you getting claustrophobic?
I can see daylight.
It keeps going and going. I'm almost there. Wow.
Oh, there's a circle building.
Uh-huh.
That's the Radcliffe Global Center. And the reason why, yeah, we stopped right there is because there were so many other people. You just kind of have to like squeeze to one side and wait
For them to
come back, and
Yeah.
then you can kind of work your way around.
So we had actually walked that whole road down there, but it was definitely very interesting seeing it from up top. It really brought Oxford to life, I think. This was definitely the highlight of Oxford for us. And it's so crazy seeing all the little tiny steeples everywhere. It looked very sharp. So this actually went all the way around, so we were able to get 4 sides of the city.
Oh, look, a door.
Oh, nice.
It goes around.
Oh, that got scared. Step down.
There's a step. It's like, oh, there's no floor.
Can you just imagine? You know they built this back before there were safety features. Oh my gosh, I just cannot believe that they used to build stuff like this.
Dude, this is my favorite thing we've seen so far.
Oh, could you imagine? Like some people are probably daredevil enough to actually like climb this.
I don't think it's advised. Is that a leg? Oh, it is a leg. Because there's like a...
There's a face, some gargoyle.
All the faces are very strange. Oh, she's sad. Hey, let's keep going around. Watch your head. Oh, look at that countryside.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Where? Someone's rooftop right there.
That's someone's
You can
house.
see their bed.
No, that's my bed.
You wish.
They're pretty nice.
What's that?
Someone did this in 1764.
Oh, wow.
That's why she was saying like some of the
Graffiti is 500 years old, something like that.
Hey guys, we're up here on a tower. Or it's above a church.
It's a
called
church
the tower.
steeple. It overlooks Oxford.
Which is beautiful. We were having a milkshake, and some random person came up, and she's like, "Oh, are you guys
Helen.
on?" Helen, yeah, sorry, not random person, Helen. We met Helen. Anyway, she said, "Oh shit." She's like, "Hey."
She did not say that.
She's like, "Hey, are you guys on YouTube?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Oh god, this is awful. She came out. I was like, "Hey, are you guys on YouTube? I think I recognize you." And so then we started talking, and she like started telling us about all this stuff at Oxford. Of course, now it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, how much can we really get done on our last day here? But she said to go make sure we check this out, which actually we had come into this church before, but we didn't know if it was worth the £5 because we didn't.
I didn't even know you could climb
I
up
had
to the
seen
top.
it, but like I didn't know if it was really honestly worth it, like how high it went. I didn't even just look at it. And then after talking with her, she highly recommended this, and I'm glad she did because it is.
We came back.
Picturesque up here.
This is the best view of Oxford for sure.
You?
Well, part of that. But look at that view.
Look at that grave.
Look at that down there. Oh gosh. Don't drop the camera. Whew. I could just like scare you all right now and just go, whoa. Over you go. Whoa. I'm too scared to mess around even. Alright, don't fall down.
Almost want to do it backwards.
The backpack is just scraping the wall.
Oh. Yeah, this is so sad. Imagine having them have to like run up these stairs to deliver someone like a tea or something. Some rich person just lives up
like,
here.
I want my tea on top of the balcony.
Yeah. Oh, these are.
I could like stand on your shoulders right now.
These stairs are not up to code for the.
I think they have different code standards for this older building. They do have a railing at least.
It just keeps going on forever.
That's tiring.
I still can't see the ball. Okay, no, wait.
Round and round we go. Where this ends, nobody knows.
Oh.
Watch your head.
So after the tower, we did go and check out the River Thames because Helen also mentioned we needed to check that out because she highly recommended doing the gondola type thing.
It's not a gondola. She made sure to let me know that it was not that, but it's similar.
It's called something else.
It's like the long flat boat that you kind of just take a stick and
which it looked like a lot of fun, and apparently it's the thing to do there in Oxford. But it was also a little more expensive, and
well, it was mainly because it was just later in the day.
Yes, and we didn't want to risk getting wet because we were not prepared for any of that.
Yeah, we had our camera gear. It was like, I think 4:30 or 5. I think they were gonna close within an hour.
It seemed expensive for only being able to do it for a half hour.
You could pay someone to take you, which is probably what we would have to have done with the camera equipment. But I think it was like £45 for only half an hour. We just voted not to, but we did watch them.
So after that, I think we ended up walking closer back towards our hotel and stuff, and we kind of got into smaller and smaller parts of the city. Not really the Oxford feel, but we did know, because it was our last night, we wanted to buy some candy to bring home with us. Like the candies you guys have sent us, the candy that we've fallen in love with, we had to get more of while we were there. So we ended up buying 50 pounds worth of candy. Not 50 pounds of candy, but you know, it's 51.20 actually.
You can see on our Instagram, like all the chocolate we bought. It was a lot.
And sadly all gone now.
We did share a lot of it. At the same time though, it's way cheaper for like us to have bought it there and then brought it back with us than to have it shipped over or buy it here.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys getting us hooked on all that candy, and we really appreciated being able to buy it in person and bring it home with us and share it with our friends and family.
Love some double-deckers.
Oh, the double-deckers. You guys bought so many. Oh my gosh.
50 pounds worth of 50-pound snacks. No!
Oh,
Don't just dump them all
we
in.
don't have any for ourselves.
Oh, we got a lot of double-deckers, which happen to be our favorites.
So I think that pretty much wraps up what we did in Oxford. I think by the time we got back to the hotel, it was probably 7 or 8.
So yeah, that was our trip. Wrapped it up. I do apologize for the length of time it has taken to get the videos out. We've just been very busy in our life, and we got them out when we could. Probably filmed too much and had videos that wouldn't necessarily be needed.
No, but for your first time, everything was needed.
Yeah, it was our first time doing the vlogging, travel stuff, so we didn't want to leave stuff out.
Yeah.
And then people had hoped with the trip, so I definitely felt obligated to make sure that we had content for everyone in order to show what we did. There's a lot that we learned that we would talk about in another video. We'll break down like what we thought of the UK, or like what we liked and disliked, and then also what we learned, and we'll do that in another video.
But for now, this wraps up day 15 of our trip, our last full day. We did leave on day 16 technically, but we didn't really do anything. We just was basically traveling to the airport.
Yeah, which was hell.
And that has a whole story of its own.
But anyway guys, that was it. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, for all the help that you guys did. Continue to support on the channel. It was definitely an experience, and for the most part we really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one.